Okay, recently we've gotten a ton of good news about Apple's Vision Pro headset, some other stuff too through reporting, leaks, stuff straight from Apple, and I want to go over all of that today. There's so much crazy stuff to jump into. Let's start off with durability. This thing looks pretty crazy, right? It's made out of entirely fabric for the head strap, aluminum, and glass. And while that looks really nice in renders, I didn't really stop and think about what would happen if you bumped into something like a wall with this product, or maybe you accidentally drop this $3,500 headset. You would hope it would survive, right? Well, according to a new report, Apple themselves has actually had some concerns about the durability, and that one, not only does the glass on the front apparently scratch pretty easily due to the super unique conserved manufacturing process, but it also is incredibly delicate, as in people have been walking around with these and they crack relatively easily when you bump into something. Now, because Apple is aware that it could be somewhat fragile, they are going to put warnings in the software that tell you if you're getting too close to something, but I just can't imagine dropping 3 bands on this and then you accidentally bump into a wall and it's just shattered. I guess Apple's going to sell AppleCare for this as another way to alleviate things. And hey, third parties like Casetify have already announced some crazy accessories like Bounce to make sure it doesn't crack when it drops. I actually think the third-party accessory market is going to go absolutely wild on top of this stuff we've seen from Casetify. The Caviar luxury brand has announced that they've got a multi-tens of thousands of dollars gold version that you can buy of this. Now, before moving on with the rest of the video, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, which is the Insta360 Flow. This is an AI-powered smartphone stabilizer, and it is unlike anything I've ever seen. I mean, first of all, it's a killer smartphone gimbal with this AI tracking that actually blows my mind. It has something called person re-identification. So using the Insta360 Flow, someone can walk out of frame or become obfuscated by another person, and the smartphone will still remember them when they walk back into frame and center them and make it look perfect. The always-on tracking makes shooting with the Flow so much fun because your shots look so clean. But that's actually just the start of the Flow, because on the inside, there's a built-in tripod as well. This tripod's legs extend. You need no additional hardware whatsoever, and now you can set up and shoot in any location by yourself. And then on top of everything else, you can also just pull to extend the Insta360 Flow, use it as a taller tripod, or it doubles as a selfie stick for shooting. Like I said at the beginning here, I've never seen a smartphone stabilizer like this. So check them out, link down below. Thanks to Insta360 for sponsoring. Now let's get back to it. Nonetheless, if you're thinking about buying Apple's Vision Pro headset, a lot of people have laughed at the price because it is insane, $3,500, saying nobody is going to touch this product, but I don't actually think that's going to be the case. I think this is going to be in very high demand. I think it's going to be in especially high demand considering how few of these Apple is able to make. We've heard recently in a number of reports that Apple has been having a really hard time in early production due to the complex nature of engineering this. And while the production numbers in the first year started out at 1 million, they were then halved to about 500,000, then we went down to 300,000 or 400,000, and some Apple suppliers are saying that Apple has only ordered enough parts for about 150,000 of these in the first year, which 150,000 seems like a lot until you remember that Apple sells tens of millions of iPhones every year. And of course, you could argue the Vision Pro is more expensive, but I personally am guessing that this product is going to be super back ordered and actually super hard to get your hands on, especially because we've also learned recently how you're going to order this. It's going to be sold only on Apple.com in the US initially. And then once you actually put in your order, it sounds like you'll be setting up an in-store appointment at the Apple Store to get it fitted properly. Because this is something that I think I and others missed in the initial unveil. There are multiple sizes of the headbands, multiple sizes of the light seal that presses right up against your face. And Apple knows that that will not be a one size fits all, so they've got custom iPhone apps and other measures to make sure it fits you right. And it sounds like a lot of this is going to happen very one-on-one with an Apple Store employee that like helps you through the process, which, you know, I guess it's kind of cool that you get some special service when you're dropping that much cash. And if special appointments and fittings for this first-gen Apple product sound familiar, then just look back at the Apple Watch in 2015 when Apple employed the exact same strategy for that first-gen product. And again, initially, this is only going to be in the United States, but according to reports, Apple is planning to expand to the UK and Canada as the first markets outside of the US sometime later in 2024, and then Asia and the rest of Europe will be following maybe late 2024, early 2025. Moving on from that, the battery pack. It was one of the most controversial decisions connections that Apple made. You've got a wire going down from your head to this battery pack. And for me, it's cool because I have shorts on. So you just kind of put it in your pocket and then it'll run up your body, right? But what if you don't have a pocket? Like, what if you're wearing a dress or you have a hijab on or you just don't have some kind of pantaloon with a pocket? Where do you put the battery? Well, Apple is apparently working with third-party accessory makers to develop some kind of shoulder strap accessory so it would like rest around there on your back. And I gotta say, this is starting to get a little jank a little fast. I think it's gonna be one of those things that folks don't think about until they're in the situation, and then it's like, where do I put this kind of large battery pack? And I know, again, the third-party accessory market will have options for this. Maybe it could go on the back of the headset to sort of counterweight it and sit there, but shoulders is what Apple's thinking. Maybe they'll do knees and toes next. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. I think it's a great song, for the record. But no matter how you look at it, this battery pack is going to be clunky in some way, similar to the headset itself not being as light as we thought, and a number of people that actually wore it for that 30-minute press demo saying that it was uncomfortable even during that short period of time. And just like some of the other Vision Pro challenges, Apple also has somewhat of a solution for this as well, and that is this optional top strap that was only shown off in a single part of the keynote that a lot of people do not realize is actually somewhat central to the Vision Pro experience. While it looks cool when it only goes around your head, the top strap apparently helps with the weight a lot. And as it turns out, that top strap might be sold separately. It will be an additional purchase on top of $3,500, on top of your prescription lenses, on top of additional battery packs. It's just not fair, man. And while initially I thought Apple was being somewhat deceptive by not being super open about the presence of maybe needing this top strap for many users, it seems like they were actually just doing it because the design apparently has not been finalized. We've heard that Apple is still actively working on this part of the headset, as well as working on quite a bit of other parts as well. The front-facing display, the eyesight feature that shows users' eyes and their facial expressions, that is still not all the way there, which is why you didn't see many demos of that working. Even Mike Rockwell, which is the head of Vision Pro's development, said that everything that Apple has shown is just a sneak peek for what this device is eventually going to be. And that's not actually Apple talk. There's a lot of features that Apple is working on day in, day out that might not ship with version 1, but will be coming in a future software update or to the Vision 2, according to this new article from The Information. Starting with workouts and exercise, Apple didn't talk about that at all. Where Meta and others have really leaned into fitness, Apple found their stride with fitness in the watch. They didn't talk about that at all, which is weird, right? Apple just didn't think about it. No, of course Apple thought about it, and they're working on a lot here. Apple's been exploring a partnership with Nike here to bring more fitness content to the headset. They're working on more breathable, sweat-resistant face cushions that would be, made for working out and sweating. They're experimenting with being on a stationary bike, essentially making the Vision Pro a Peloton for anyone on any kind of a stationary bike, as well as a Tai Chi app, because there's specific downward facing cameras that could see your chest and your breathing to help you learn how to do that. Second big thing here was gaming. Apple barely talked about it. I was shocked, as this is like the main application of VR globally right now. Where are the Apple immersive games? The answer here is two things. Number one, developers only got access to Vision Pro to make apps for it and games, a couple of weeks ago. So it's going to take time for them to develop those out. But number two, it's because Apple took a unique approach. There are no controllers with this. These are your controllers. You tap and pinch and zoom very naturally. And while that works really great for apps and productivity, it sounds like it's not as precise as Apple needs right now for gaming. So for Gen 1, that's not the focus. Third here, sports. Being able to sit courtside at games or ice side at hockey or field side at football. As it turns out, streaming all of that 3D content with no latency is incredibly challenging. And while reviewers got a very brief demo of sitting courtside at an NBA game, and Apple is actively working on it again at a larger scale, getting all of that to feel perfect in a way that Apple would actually want to launch it, they weren't ready to show the world that yet. The fourth and final big feature that I think will ultimately be the game changer for this product is a feature called Co-Presence that essentially will let you feel like you are in the same room talking to someone. We saw FaceTime, it's a bit dumbed down. The avatars are not like full body. Apple's working on full body tracking. They are working on Co-Presence where it will feel like we're in the same room together. You know, I could film my videos in Apple 3D. It would feel real. Again, that's something they're working on. It's not there. So they're not going to show something that's going to be in the first gen product guaranteed when it's not done. These are all things that are coming to Vision Pro and that certainly make the $3,500 price tag not as sweet as it will be in a couple of months or years down the road. $3,500 is just the start. As we all guessed, guess what? It is. Apple has not only confirmed this themselves by changing the title of the Apple Vision Pro development group to the Vision Products Group. Products, Apple, what does that mean? There's only one Apple Vision Pro. It's of course because not only is a follow-up to the Vision Pro already in the works at Apple, they're also working on a cheaper version that's just called Apple Vision. And this cheaper version apparently is coming out in late 2025, maybe early 2026. It's going to be roughly half the price. And of course, it's not going to have as insane displays, as insane speakers, as insane of a front display. It's going to be dumbed down a bit. Price tag on that one, I bet is going to be around $2,000 instead of $3,500. So absolutely not cheap, right? But certainly not as expensive as this version. And by then, a lot of additional features like co-presence, fitness, gaming, sports, courtside, those will be there. But for right now, we've still got the $3,500 Vision Pro. That's what's on deck. And Apple has emphasized many times to many members of the press, early 2024. Usually they say that and they keep it pretty loose. Like the Apple Watch, they said early 2015 it was going to come out, and it came out in April or May. I think it's going to be February, March, maybe even January. Like Apple has been very on the nose about early. They keep saying that, which implies it's not going to be at the very end, which means we could have like 5 or 6 months until this thing comes out. Of course, I'll have so much content on it because this is like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Of course, I'm buying it. And yeah, let me know your thoughts about this product, you know, a month and a half, 2 months almost after it's unveiling. Has you changed it? Were you a hater? You know, you love it, vice versa. You were going to get it, now you're not. Let me know down below in the comments. I love you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you in the next one.